Hey you guys. I love saying that, and you know what? I have the Goonies shirt on, so why not? I love it. Hi everybody. Uh, it is me, Olga, aka Olga Tiviri. I am doing a video series this week, the week of my birthday, because I felt very strongly um, that I wanted to share part of my story and my journey with mental health this week. Yesterday, September 10th, happened to be International Suicide Prevention Day. Um, and I was incorrect in saying that it was Mental Health Awareness Month before. That's actually in May, but they do suicide awareness in the month of September. So I am a person who has been diagnosed with depression from an early age. I am a suicide survivor as well, and I just want to share my journey because I feel like we don't talk enough about this stuff. So a little bit about me. Again, my name is Olga, and I am a mother, a daughter, a friend, a free spirit. I am infinitely curious, and I love to learn about things. I also like to share what I've learned. So with this video series, I hope to share some insights into what I've experienced, so that people out there maybe experiencing the same things feel like they're not alone. Okay, like you're not alone. You are not the only one feeling this way. I promise you that. There's a lot of us out here. It's just we don't talk about it, and that's what I want to do, is talk about it. And then on the flip side, for anybody who doesn't experience any issues of mental health, maybe you have people around you, people that you work with or live with, or encounter every now and then, or even on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it gives you some insight into what life may be like for people who suffer from mental health issues. So I thank you guys so much. This is now day 3, and it's a 5-part series. So I thank you guys so much for watching and for sharing your feedback with me. It's very touching to know that my story is touching other people, and like, thanks for allowing me to be myself. I can't say anything else but that. So each day I've been kind of picking a different topic to talk about, and today what I wanted to talk about is what depression feels like, and what these feelings of sadness feel like. I didn't think about something earlier. Depression and anxiety is personally what I've gone through and what I've experienced. Paranoia as well. There are many different issues with mental health. A lot of them happen to be combined with depression, like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and other mental health illnesses. So this is, like I said, I'm speaking from my experience. I do know people who suffer from a lot of different types of mental health illnesses and are still able to live and have a great life. Keeping in mind that we always need to be aware of ourselves and aware of where we are in our healing journey. So yes, so I'm speaking from my angle, but I do want to just mention that there are a lot of mental health issues and illnesses out here that affect people differently, but they may also be suffering with depression because of the other things. So this may also be this may also fall in line with what they're going through. And I'd be curious to know if any of you guys are experiencing any of this, and if you need to talk about it. Like, I'm always willing to talk. If you feel like you don't have quite the support system, I can definitely lend an ear. One of the things that I believe I was put here for is to help other people. I believe that that's, a God-given gift of mine, is to be able to speak to people and to talk to people. And I don't take that lightly. Again, because I've been through it before. I am I take that very meaningfully and intimately when somebody decides to share something with me. So just know that you can reach out, and if there's any way that I can help point you into a direction of maybe services or healing, and things like that, like, I will assist you. You know, I do life coaching, but it may be something that goes a little bit deeper than life coaching. A lot of mental health issues and illnesses, they require more than just the coaching, and then maybe you can get back into something like that. So let me know, and I'd definitely be really willing to speak to you about what's going on and see how we can help you. So depression for me, what it feels like, and when I start to notice that I am starting to get into that depressed mode, I start to notice that my energy is really low. I start to like double up on caffeine. I'm probably eating a lot of junk. I'm probably not sleeping well, so either I'm sleeping late and waking up early, or I'm sleeping early and it still doesn't feel like anything's happened. You know, no, like, not a restful sleep. I may be tossing and turning. Sometimes it's really hard to go to sleep. When I was younger, especially, I used to suffer from insomnia a lot. Like, I'd spend hours and hours just laying up watching the ceiling, and I used to cry a lot of times because I felt like I was all by myself. I was surrounded by, you know, my family, and everybody was sleeping, but I was there suffering silently because I couldn't get to sleep. And then I was tired the next day to go to school. You know, as an older adult, right? Or even as a teenager, like, just to get up and do things feels like a struggle. It feels like it's just so hard. Like, like you're moving through, well, I'm Dominican, so imagine you walking through a wall of flan all day long, you know, or like you're walking through gel all day. Like, every movement is kind of like, it's just tough. You feel fatigued. You feel just exhausted a lot. At least that's the way that I feel. You know, I feel like I want to quit everything. This happens to me a lot, especially when I'm like PMSing hard and my hormones are like raging and I'm driving myself crazy, trying to like figure myself out and not realizing that it's the hormones coming on, or those times where I've been really just depressed, where I feel like nothing's working, you know, life's just so hard, everything is just, how can I even move forward from this? Like, do I even believe in myself that I can do any of the things that I want to do, that I see myself doing, you know? And I start having that pattern of like negative self-speech, and it becomes, like I said before, like I mentioned in the last video, like a spiral of thoughts. And that takes me down into this place where I just feel hopeless. Like, I can't do anything. Like, no matter what I do, nothing's gonna get better. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't even see the spark. There's nothing there. Like, it feels like I'm in the deepest, darkest hole, and I'm in there all by myself, and yet I'm surrounded by everybody. And it really makes me feel like I just want to quit everything. I want to quit my job. I want to quit going outside. I think about, like, you know, like, just, I think about, like, just, you know, giving up everything, you know, like, you know, like, I honestly, I have thoughts of myself, you know, maybe things would just be better off if I wasn't here. And that's what it feels like when I get into the deep depression, and then when I start having my my suicidal thoughts, you know, which hasn't happened in a very long time, thank God. I have felt really upset and really depressed very recently, but not to the point where I felt like I wanted to harm myself. But when I was that low, that is what it felt like. Like, you know what? Like, I just want to go to sleep and I just don't want to wake up. I just don't want to be here anymore. Life is just not worth living. And I felt like I was taking up space that somebody else could have. I felt like, why should I be here if I don't even want to be here? Why should I be here if everybody else can do it better than I can? That's what I felt like. And that was really, really tough and painful to go through. Having those thoughts spiraling, like, it's so draining. And I think this is why it's so tiring. You know, the biggest muscle, the one that uses the most water, even overnight, it's working, is your brain. And when you're using your brain for thoughts like that, it's super exhausting. So it's no wonder that I felt like just tired all the time, right? And then that's all I craved to do was sleeping. All I wanted to do was sleep. All I would want to ever do was sleep. I just wanted to be asleep all the time. Because it just sounded like the best option. Like, why go to work when I could sleep? You know? I would have feelings that, like, I just wouldn't want to bother anybody. And I felt like I was a burden to other people. I feel like I'm a burden, you know, when I was in my depressed states and when I'm feeling bad and down and sorry for myself, I guess. I felt like I was just like letting everybody down, being a disappointment, not what everybody expects of me, and so I'm making life harder for everybody else, and I don't want to do that for anybody, especially if I knew that I was already starting to act out in ways that just don't align with me. A lot of times, being depressed and feeling sad, I would feel very angry and upset about everything and just like ready to fight at any time, you know? So what tends to happen a lot is that we tend to lash out, and this is true for everybody. Like, if you've ever been in a period of stress where one of your loved ones came to you, asked you for something, or just like was nagging you about something, or just maybe they even just asked you how you were doing and you were just in a mood and you lashed out at them, like, you're projecting your feelings onto other people. And I hate doing that, but I know that that was definitely a reality for me. I would have moments where I would just like just be reckless and just say reckless shit to the people that I love, because I was just in a place of feeling so much pain, like so deep, that I couldn't talk about, and I couldn't even pinpoint or place a finger on it, or I knew exactly what it was, but because of respecting other people and being a people pleaser, I couldn't say anything. You know, it just left me just feeling angry and resentful. And I would misplace my anger and misplace my sadness and project that onto other people. And one of the things that I love is that my friends come to me because they usually want to hang out, they want to have a good time. They know that I'm all for a good time. I am the life of the party. I like el ambiente. I like being with my people. I like having fun. For me, quality time with quality people is the best thing. And every opportunity that I can, I try to do so. Because for me, it's very important to be around the people that I love. So when I'm depressed, it's like the complete opposite. I just don't want to be around anybody. I don't want to bother anybody because I don't want them to feel my energy. I hate passing on energy. I hate it when people pass on their negative energy to me. Like, and not in the way, like, obviously, if we're having a conversation, I'm asking you to share this is different. But I'm talking about the people who go and they treat you however they feel like treating you, and they don't give two shits, fucks, or whatever. They just decide that they're gonna go ahead and step all over you because they're in a bad mood, and they never ever admit to it, or never ever like acknowledge where they may have fucked up, even if they were going through something. I'm not one of those people. I really can't stand that. So just know that, yes, you can definitely talk to me and tell me things, but don't be disrespectful. Like, that's just rude. You know what I'm saying? So another thing that tends to happen is that all of that falls into me isolating myself, me wanting to be all by myself, not spread the vibes. And this is when I know that I've hit the lowest of the low. This is definitely at the point where I am Netflix binging like crazy. And at this point in time, I'm either probably crying myself every day, every night to sleep, or every morning when I wake up. And the only thing that makes it better is just like losing myself in somebody else's story for hours and days at a time, because being in the reality of somebody else, or in the fantasy world of somebody else, seems way more appealing than admitting to myself that what I'm living right now is making me feel like I just don't want to be here anymore, you know. So I will say that although it may not be the healthiest way, sometimes I feel like for myself, and I know that everybody needs to look for those things that help them to get through something. Once I realize that I'm in the funk of all funks, and I start going to like watching, you know, series on Netflix or on YouTube or whatever, I know that that's when I'm at the point where I can't go anywhere else. I can't go anywhere else. This is the lowest of the low. I'm just going to hold myself up probably for a whole month, if that's required, and go just do the absolute bare minimum of what I need to do and get that done and call it a day. And it's okay. Sometimes we need to go on Netflix binges. I'm not gonna lie. That's just one of the ways that I cope when I'm feeling that bad. And then on a normal day-to-day basis, I don't watch TV much at all. But during those times, it becomes a little bit of a crutch that I rely on just to get me through until I've been in another world so long that coming back to my own doesn't feel as hard. The last thing that I wanted to mention on this, just because I was trying to think of like all the things that I wanted to mention, and hopefully I'm not missing anything, but I can always bring that up in another video. Last thing I wanted to mention was just the feeling that, actually, you know what? No, I have a few more things. Sorry. I made a list for myself. I thought I was at the end, but I'm not. I don't feel normal. I feel like when I'm going through my rough patches and when I've been really depressed, and especially in the beginning when I didn't realize and I didn't know that there were other people out there suffering just like I was suffering, I didn't realize that I wasn't the only one. And I didn't realize that, you know, I didn't have to suffer by myself or in silence. You know, I didn't feel normal. And it doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel normal when you feel like when you're at work, you are so overwhelmed with all your emotions and everything that's going on that you can't help but cry right in the middle of your shift, right in front of your customers, right in front of your coworkers, and there's no stopping it. Like, I'm talking about full on ugly sobbing, crying, snot coming out of everywhere, go get some tissues, go grab some water, sit down, go to the closet, it'll be okay, type of stuff. Shout out to all of my coworkers in the past who have been there with me when I have fully freaked the fuck out at work. I really appreciate you guys for making me feel like I was safe and like it was okay. Regardless of anything that may have been said when I left. No, just kidding. Really, really though, I really do appreciate all of the folks that I have worked with that have just allowed me to be myself. Again, that is so freeing, and that it's embarrassing at the moment, but looking back, it needed to happen because I was holding too many things inside. I was holding so much inside that it was just bound to come out, and that's where it came out. So that doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel normal when you are bursting out into tears in front of people out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere. You know where it comes from. You know, it doesn't feel normal that you feel like there's periods of time where you can't go to work because it's gotten this bad, and it gets this bad quite often. You know, it feels debilitating. It's crippling, the amount of sadness and the amount of pain that you feel. I have also experienced anxiety and panic attacks in the past, and these look a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure that those were anxiety attacks I was having while I was at work, while I had those shifts. And it's happened to me at home as well, because it's not just in situations where I'm with other people that I don't know. Like, it happens to me. It can happen anywhere. I can have a burst out like that, you know. Once it's gone, it's kind of like when it starts off so quietly, and I'm talking about my depression, my feelings of depression. It starts off so quietly and subtly that I almost don't realize that it's creeping up on me until it gets to a point where I know that I feel negative most of the time. My thoughts are in a very negative place. I feel very bad about myself and my situations, very hopeless about my prospects. Crisis mode is when it feels like nothing's gonna get better, and you really do feel like you're at the point where you just don't know what to do anymore, and you can't stop crying, and it's been days since you've been able to either eat normally, function normally, even use the bathroom normally. Like, if you know that you've been in bed for days and you haven't been able to get up, and you're just like calling out days on end, if your body's physically manifesting it, like I have some of the physical manifestations of mental illness, because those do happen. For myself, have been palpitations, cold sweats, pain in my chest, pain in my stomach, pain in my intestines, back pain, headaches, migraines, tension headaches, cluster headaches. I suffer from all kinds of headaches, and yeah, extreme fatigue to the point where it feels like I can't pick things up. It gets that bad. Those are some of the physical symptoms that I experience. You know what? I get like itchiness. I actually get like an itchiness on my head and on my skin when I feel very anxious and depressed. That comes more with the anxiety. yeah. And so the one thing that I have learned is that when I'm in crisis mode, it is time to take some rest for myself. So this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. Make sure that when you are feeling some type of way, speak to somebody, talk to somebody about it. Oh, my dad's walking in now. Speak to somebody about it, talk to somebody about it, and get some rest. Give yourself the opportunity. Sometimes calling out of work is absolutely necessary. And sometimes phoning a friend is necessary. Sometimes taking a walk is necessary. Sometimes just laying in bed may be necessary. But give yourself a break and give yourself some time to really think about it and see if maybe the next idea for something that you could do instead of something that you shouldn't do will come up. Because I find that when you give yourself space to rest, your brain has a way of also coming up with solutions. Even if your mind tries to tell you that it's not a good idea or that that'll never work, God's probably giving you that info. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know. You can comment below or go onto my Instagram. I haven't given that out. Olga Activity on Instagram. Go on there and you can send me a DM if you have any questions, anything that you'd like me to address, anything that you feel is important that you want to know. Just let me know. Again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a better day.